Hey guys, it's Mike here from the Music Workshop. I'm doing a video today for a friend of mine called Jeremy who asked a question online, and now I said I would do a video and now I have to do it because that would make me a liar if I didn't do a video. So Jeremy, this is for you, and I'm only doing it because I don't want you to think I'm a liar. Okay, so I don't know everything because nobody knows everything about drumming, and everything I'm about to tell you is individual, so it's the way I see it. It doesn't mean it's fact, it doesn't mean I'm right, it just means that's what I think. It might make sense to you, it might make no sense. I make no apologies if it makes sense, because this is my disclaimer at the start of the video. So, Jeremy's question, I'm going to read it out. Hey everyone, I've been feeling really non-motivated to play recently. A huge weakness of mine is sight reading. I've been trying to work on it, but I always get extremely overwhelmed. Any advice would be great. Okay, so I've written down a list after recording this video previously and watching it and hating it because I hate myself on camera. It's horrible. So this is, I'm struggling through here. It's just for you, Jeremy. Okay, so first of all, don't get hung up on sight reading. Sight reading is an ability to do something that you don't really need to be able to do. It's like being able to speak Latin. Okay, it's great to be able to do it, but you're not going to be asked to do it very often. Very rarely are you going to find yourself in a situation where someone comes up to you and says, here's some sheet music, I need you to play it right now, and it needs to be perfect. The real reason, I think, for music, for all drummers, is so that they have something to refer to other than memory. Everything that you play, other than when you're being introduced to it for the first time, you have an imprint in your brain of the way it's supposed to be. You have a memory, you have muscle memory on it, we've talked about that before. And the music is there as a map to make sure that what you're doing is correct. That's it. That's all it is. So don't get hung up on sight reading, Jeremy. It's not important in the great scheme of things, and there's great things you can be doing other than worrying about your ability to read something at speed for the first time. And I think the main part of your question is getting overwhelmed in practice. And there's a really simple approach to this that I think gets looked over a lot of the time, and that's that practice is not performance. If you're practicing, it's supposed to sound bad, like Mike's mantra, embrace this. So practice is supposed to be slow, and it's supposed to be steady, and it's supposed to be counted out loud, and it's not supposed to sound like the finished product, and it's supposed to be beat for beat. It's not performance. So if you're practicing and you're flat out and you're playing major chops, you're not learning anything. All you're doing is playing your comfort material. It's good. It keeps you motivated and keeps you positive, but it's not what you need to be doing to become a better drummer. If you're playing what you know already and that's all you ever play, you're never going to improve, because all you're doing is playing what you know. Okay? My approach is to start and end every practice with comfort material. So you start with the major chops and the stuff you love playing and the stuff that makes you feel good. Then you get into your practice content, the stuff you need working on, the stuff that needs to be slow and steady and painful almost. Okay? The stuff that doesn't make you sound good but makes you better. It's your medicine. It tastes bad, but it makes me better. Okay? You end your practice with the comfort material as well. You should always end on a high. So if you have practiced for 45 minutes and it's been painfully slow and the progress has been slow, and then you just stop and you walk away, you leave with a bad taste in your mouth. So what you want to do is you want to get back to the good stuff at the end and feel like you've done well at the end by playing your comfort material, your awesome sauce, as Mike would call it. Keeping a practice schedule helps as well. And I don't mean like a diary that has to be pages long. I mean literally a couple of things scribbled down that you're going to work on, and you work on them. And if you stay working on those topics, it just keeps you focused on what you plan to get better at. All you need is that piece of paper stuck to your music stand, and it will remind you of what you want to work on. And you'll notice a marked improvement in those things if you stay focused on it. It's very easy to be scatty in practice and just move from topic to topic without actually making progress. So on a week by week, change your approach, change your level of start and your level of finish on your practice topics, and you'll see a marked improvement. If you have a camera, which like everybody has a camera, whether it's on your phone or whatever, try record your practices. And it's not so you can hear how good or how bad you are. It's so you can see how much you're actually practicing. A big step in changing bad habits is noticing them. So if you're not noticing that 45% of your practice is you just fluffing about on the kit and playing, having fun, then you're never going to really make great progress. But if you watch yourself do it, it's like your eyes open and you're like, oh my god, I really was only practicing for like 5 minutes and the rest of that 45 minutes was just playing, messing around. So watch out for that. Recording works really good for that and helped me. And I don't know, a lot of the family knows that I run a music school, but the name of the music school is called the Music Workshop. And the only reason I bring it up is because there's a really good reason why it's called a workshop. When I was naming the place, I didn't want to have school in the title because it was going to have negative connotations for an awful lot of students. So I wanted something other than school. And the whole idea of a workshop was, in my mind, a workshop is like a small area where you go and you make progress. You've got your workbench and your saws and your tools and you're working on whatever you're working on, and you're getting it from a raw piece of wood into a finished product. So that was the kind of logic I used for the lessons, that we were going to work on a raw piece of material and polish it to something worth having, something we're making. So the workshop was a small room where you'd practice. And that is the idea that I like to kind of put forward for practicing, that you should have a place just for yourself, that you don't have an audience, or you're not trying to play to an audience. Your practice should be slow and it should be deliberate and you should know what you're doing. And if you're not getting it right, slow it down, make it easier, okay? You should sandwich your practice material with fun stuff so that you start on a high and you end on a high. You really enjoy your practices a lot more that way, rather than just finishing with the hard stuff and feeling bad about yourself. Don't think that making mistakes when you're practicing is a bad thing. This is something that we're all guilty of, that we feel bad in ourselves when we make a mistake. The fact of the matter is, if you make a mistake and you notice it, it's a plus. The only bad mistakes are the ones you don't notice. I'm going to leave it at that because I'm pushing 7.5 minutes. But I hope the video was helpful and I didn't blunder my way through it too much. Let me know what you think. Jeremy, this is all for you, buddy. It's all for you. See you later.